breaking news for Raptors fans as it was revealed that Otto Porter Jr. has undergone season-ending surgery. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing what the Raptors are missing out on with the player out injured and question why the front office signed a guy who has such a long history of injuries in the NBA. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody back to Amateur Hour TV, the second channel in the Amateur Hour Production Network. And on this channel, we go through additional NBA-related coverage, especially concerning the Toronto Raptors, with a little bit of a difference to my main channel. We go through these topics in a little bit less of a formal fashion, a little bit more personal approach for myself. And for stuff like this, for news like this, we can cover breaking news relatively quickly. And it was revealed not long before I started recording this video that Otto Porter Jr., like I said, is going to miss the rest of the season with surgery after that foot injury. And this is a disaster situation for the Raptors. Before we go into that, guys, want to remind you to please drop a like on this video if you do find yourself enjoying along the way, and make sure you are subscribed to Amateur Hour TV for more videos and content just like this multiple times a week. So on with the discussion for this. Otto Porter missed the start of the season through injury. He missed the preseason completely. He missed the start of the season with an injury, very small injury, but just felt like it was a little bit longer than it should have been. I'm not criticizing him in any way, by the way. I thought he'd be back for the start of the season. He wasn't. He came back. It took a little bit of an adjustment period for him to get back up to speed, but even in his brief amount of games this season, it looked like the Raptors had a solid player here, and the Raptors signed him in the summer, and the Raptors, by the way, when they signed him, this was a big free agent poll by the Raptors. As much as the Raptors had success in the last decade, an NBA championship in 2019, their poll in free agent markets is very slim. The most notable free agent signing in Raptors history, unfortunately, has to go to DeMarre Carroll. In terms of the talent, the best free agent signing in Raptors history, a player that was on a different team the season before that signed as a free agent for the Raptors, it might actually be Otto Porter Jr. And I'm not even trying to exaggerate. You can look up all free agents. It might actually be Otto Porter Jr. And, for a good reason. Otto Porter Jr., it shouldn't be your best free agent in franchise history in terms of the talent. However, Otto Porter Jr. is a good player. He assessed a few of the needs that the Raptors had going into this season. He brought a shooting touch, a shooting stroke that the Raptors clearly have lacked this season. He added a little bit of on-ball creation and just a solid player on defense as well. He was a very good pickup for the Raptors at $6.36 million in that range there. But it's just a season that's been ravaged by injuries. Like I said, missed the start of the season, played in 8 games before picking up that toe injury against the Detroit Pistons, that away game against the Pistons, where it just, at the time, it didn't really seem like much happened there. He got injured, and I was like, okay, that sucks. He's going to miss the rest of the game. And then it was revealed he's going to be out for a while. I'm like, okay, that's also strange. I don't think he'd be out that long. Like, when it happened, I was thinking, okay, he'd be back in a few days, but time went on, weeks went on, months went on, and we just didn't really understand what was going on with the player. There was no updates on the injury. There was no updates on what was going on from that November 14th injury. And it just turned into this whole thing. We had no idea what to expect from this. No information whatsoever. And then about a week ago now, in a pregame press conference, Nick Nurse was asked about the injury and if Otto Porter Jr. was making progress. And to my surprise and the surprise of many other Raptors fans, Nick Nurse revealed that there was no progress being made. Not like no information. It was just no progress was being made. And now we get to this point where not only there's no progress being made, he's now going under season-ending surgery. So that will be some progress, but he's not going to be playing for the rest of the season. And as I mentioned, Otto Porter Jr. only played in 8 games this season. It was a pretty nice pickup in the summer by the Raptors to get him as a free agent. There were ties to Toronto. I believe it's his wife. It could be his girlfriend, who is from Toronto. So a little bit of a homecoming for her, and Otto Porter Jr. gets to play in a decent basketball system. That was the perception of the Raptors coming into this season. And now the Raptors are stuck here with a player who has a history of injury in the NBA, who, he's coming off that NBA championship. It looked like a piece that was going to be important to the Raptors, a Raptors team that is already extremely thin in terms of depths, extremely thin in terms of scoring off the bench, and extraordinarily thin in the three-point shooting department. These are all areas in which Otto Porter Jr. could have helped us that we're not going to get any help this season. Sure, we got a little bit of help. He played in 8 games this season, as I pull up the basketball reference page for you guys. 8 games. He started 2 of those games. a player here that really could have helped us. And yeah, he played 63 games last season, but his last full season, we got 28 games. The season before that, 14 games. The season before that, 56. This is a player who has a history of injury. So why did Masai Ujiri decide to sign a player? Well, it's pretty simple, guys. Like I said earlier, Otto Porter Jr. is probably the most talented player the Raptors have ever brought in as a free agent. Now, in terms of just straight-up free agent signings, technically DeMar DeRozan was a free agent signing. That's the biggest free agent signing in Raptors history, but DeRozan was on the Raptors the year before, so there's a much greater incentive to just return to the same team rather than choosing the Raptors as your new destination. But that's what they got with Otto Porter Jr. In terms of like the marquee signing, it has to be DeMar Carroll, which was a disaster signing as well, let's say. But for this particular one, I was very excited, as were many Raptors fans, for a very good reason. And we got Otto Porter Jr. off of that NBA championship, where he was actually a key figure in the finals for the Warriors, for $6 million. It was like, it was the mid-level exception. This was an excellent acquisition by the Raptors, and the $6 million would suggest as well. Like, I thought Otto Porter, when it was revealed the Raptors had signed him, when the first reports came out, there was no financial, no information about the financial aspect of the signing. I was thinking this would be in the range of like $9 to $10 million, but $6 million, like that is a price for the player that definitely takes into account the possibility of injuries. Now, there's no possible way for the front office to foresee this being that big of an issue, the injuries being that big of an issue. Sure, there was a way to suggest that, okay, it's probably not going to be a full season from Otto Porter Jr., but how on earth can you expect the front office to guess and see into the future here that Otto Porter was only going to be playing 8 games in his first season with the Raptors? So it sucks. It's a roster spot, first of all. It's $6 million. You could have given somebody else, but I mean, hindsight's 20/20. We can't just look at everything in hindsight. Going back to the decision at the time, this was an excellent, excellent signing by the Raptors, and they so clearly lack in so many departments in which he could help that I specified earlier. This is a former 3rd overall pick. He's well beyond that, and he's made himself a good career now as a role player in the NBA. He's not expected to be anything extraordinary with that 3rd pick status. He's recognized for what he is. The Warriors used it, and the player showcased the ability that he can bring in that role when he played for them last season, especially, as I said, in those NBA finals. You can't put this in the front office. This was a good pickup. It's an unfortunate, uncontrollable circumstance. It's completely out of control of the front office, and it's completely out of control of the player as well. The player, I mean, he wants to be playing. He wants to be out here on the court helping this team. I'm absolutely sure of it. He doesn't want to be injured here. Sure, he's collecting a cool paycheck here for nothing, but he'd rather be on there. So I don't want to see any of this nonsense berating the player as well for this. It's something that's completely out of his control. I'm sure he takes great care of his body as a professional athlete. These are just things that are part of the game, unfortunate, but it's just something that's a part of the game that we are going to have to live with. So big miss here. Overall, though, like, the injury sucks. I think the Raptors would be in a better spot here had Otto Porter Jr. been playing this season, but in terms of like the record, the Raptors, as I record this, are 17-23. Is Otto Porter Jr. playing, making us a 500 team? No, I don't think so. I don't think a team that falls off like this and has to blame like the 8th, 9th guy in their rotation so much, I don't think that's a really good team. If a player in like that part of your rotation has this much of an effect on your lineups, what I'm saying is this probably hasn't affected the Raptors season much, but it has affected it. Can I see the Raptors pulling out like 2 more wins if Otto Porter Jr. is playing? Yeah, I think so. That has some significance to it. It's not like completely season changing, but it is significant in a way to the Raptors based on what they're lacking and what they need and what Otto Porter Jr. could have provided them. But it's just part of the game, unfortunately. So he's going to collect like the $6 million this season. Next season, he has a player option worth $6.3 million. Now, when he signed the contract initially, I was like, well, I'm kind of worried he won't take that second contract. But 100% now, it looks like he is going to be taking that contract. So obviously this season, it's about rehab. Raptors have good athletic facilities, good team doctors. So hopefully they can get him ready for the start of next season, where the Raptors may want to ramp things up. Because he still has the talent. He still has those role player capabilities that, like I said, we have been lacking. So I look forward to seeing him back in action. It just unfortunately is not going to be this season. $6.3 million for Otto Porter Jr. Hopefully he's healthy for that season, but that can be a nice player to have on our bench. But now, unfortunately, like I said, unfortunately a lot, it's just about the rehab for the player. So that will wrap it up from today on Amateur TV. Just some breaking news report, my thoughts and analysis on it. If you did enjoy that, please make sure you do drop a like on this video. It does go a long way to supporting us and helping us with the YouTube algorithm. And you want to see more videos and content just like this, please subscribe to Amateur TV. Help this channel on the road to 2,000 subscribers. And we'll see you again next time for more from myself on Amateur TV.